Hello and welcome back to Storybreakers, where it's all kicking off. I'm Wheels, your Dungeon Master, and we've had a lot going on in the last few episodes. But before we get to our recap, let's reintroduce our cast, starting with Liv.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello there. It's me, Olivia Kennedy, and I'm playing Iris Walker, who is a tiefling, and she is cool.
That's so true.
Yeah,
I love this song.
Yeah. Loves to Flip is Rogue
Apparently she's a
Warlock.
theatre kid as well.
You thought I wasn't a theatre kid?
No, I did.
You met me?
No, I did.
Come on now. Yeah.
Come on now.
No, I was going to say this office is basically Glee. It's not Glee.
God, no.
Don't you say that.
No.
That's the third
Really is
worst insult of my
problematic.
life.
And that's me.
Hello, Maddie Cullen.
Hello, hi, it's me. I am Winona Thundery Whisperbane. Winona is an elf. She is a ranger. She is an intern. She doesn't really know what's going on. Turns out this intern job is a little wilder than she thought it would be.
Turns out this girl's getting a little bit more than she bargained for this summer.
Yeah, that's me.
Moving to the other side of the table, we have Alex Meehan.
Hello, I'm Alex Meehan. I play Cariaris West, who is a half-elf bard, and she dreamed of becoming an anchor.
One level in Bard and one level in Anchor.
Lowest level on the seafloor.
It begins.
The energy in this room today is unhinged. If you watched last week's episode, we're just carrying on from there, so you know where we're at. Last but not least, it's Matt Jarvis.
Hello, I play Hunter Burrows. He is a Tortle Paladin. He's also just a tired old reporter. And he's recently been trying to shove a bloke out of a van.
Last act on this earth was pantsing someone. So
Oh yeah, I forgot. For some reason, I forgot about the pants and focused on the van.
Died as he
Yeah,
lived.
we did.
No, I meant sorry. That did come across like a...
So casual about it.
Starting this episode.
Bury me with this other man's
the
pants.
funeral.
Mian, would you like to do a little catch-up for everyone on the nonsense that occurred in the last episode?
Oh, I would love that, Wheels. Yeah, so things have gone wild. Ragrump is now a big monster, a giant mimic, and we went
Always
out.
has been.
Well, it always has been, but
Always has been.
But it's now burst
Yes.
forth from the earth.
It has awakened.
And the rest of the residents are basically refugees now living in a camp. And we went to look for Winona's father and found him. But we also found one Maxwell Morgan and one Moonlight.
And Winona's mother. She's somewhere.
Eh?
Winona's mum somewhere as well.
She's somewhere.
Yeah.
And Moonlight is a member of the Adventurers Guild who has come to retrieve Maxwell Morgan and cover up all of this stuff that's been happening. We had a big fight with Maxwell Morgan. Moonlight subdued him along with a group of shady sort of FBI-esque people. And they captured us as well. And in the last episode, we were transported in a vehicle.
A vehicle.
And a fight within ensued.
We accomplished nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't very effective.
No. Something.
But
You're right.
Hunter did achieve possibly the greatest thing he's done this entire campaign.
Wow.
Which
And
is
Korea.
rip the pants off one of the people restraining us. And now we have been rounded up by this shady group. Things aren't looking great.
It's not. The very last thing we saw was a strange bandolier-like piece of equipment just glinting in the moonlight, being handed to Moonlight. As she said something a little bit menacing to Maxwell Morgan. We cut straight back to exactly where we left off.
Can I say? I'm thinking of like a bain-marie, like what is it called?
A bain-marie, the kind
is-
of thing you steam something.
Yeah,
in.
you see. What is bandolier?
Bandolier is, like a
Yeah.
cowboy
Oh, yeah.
weapon
Yeah.
ammo sling. Yeah.
Right, yeah, got it.
Something that goes over your shoulder.
Very different from
Yeah,
bain-marie.
not bain-marie.
You're going to be steaming some today, Maxwell.
You've got to
All
make
these
panna
trousers are going to be so flat.
No, do you have anything to say about it? All right. Okay. We're back. We're back in the room. Moonlight, menacingly hovering over Maxwell. She grabs him by the shoulders and just pulls him up, and he's kind of like wobbling like this, barely on his feet. And he's just like, we made it. We made it outside town. Yeah, we did, Maxwell. But you're ready to be the hero, right? I'm ready to be the hero. He sort of like, he reaches for his wands and like can barely grab them. And he's just sort of like firing off empty
Oh,
hands.
God.
He's like, I'm ready to save the town. Yeah, that's the spirit. All right, let me just give you a bit of equipment first. And like people sort of like shuffle around him and just sort of strap this big mechanical looking bandolier around him. One on one side and one on the other. And it clips together. And they lock it with some kind of key. And it's like he's got this big X across his chest, this strange contraption. And Moonlight sort of snaps in the face. I can't think of snap. Thank you. In the face of Maxwell Morgan. And it's just like, okay, now look at me. You want to save the world, right? You want to save the town? You want to save the day? Yeah. That's what I've been trying to do. All right, well, it's time to fight the monster, Maxwell. Time to go and fight the monster. Look at it. And she sort of gestures over to this huge behemoth mouth that is just roaring in the distance. Strange sort of tendrils like pulling out of it as it's rearing its head. And it's like flinging the buildings that have been built on top of it off into the distance. And he says, yeah, no, I'm ready. And he's sort of like, he's gathering a bit more of his sense. And he grabs his wands. And he's like, "Yeah, no, this is what I wanted to do, Moonlight. I wanted to be the hero again. All right, well, it's time to go be the hero. Off you pop." And at that moment, Maxwell sort of pauses for a minute, and he looks around, and he's like, where are the journalists? They need to see it so that they can write about it in the newspaper." And you see her just sort of like ruffle her brow a little bit. It's just like, yeah, no, of course, Maxwell. And she sort of looks around to you all and just kind of sighs and says, makes a gesture, and you feel yourself being hoisted up by the people around you, and you'll kind of march towards this big open sort of field area outside of the outskirts of Ragrump. You can still see the sort of like crashed stone moor, just making this sort of perimeter of this horrible, strange creature, that old warning just torn asunder. And you are placed on your knees, still restrained at the back, kind of like just set up in almost like an auditorium, just kind of watching. And Moonlight just sort of like pats Maxwell on the back and is like, go on, go and save the day.
I think before I put me on my knees, I like try and like struggle forward a bit. I'm like, you can't just send him by himself.
It's a death sentence.
It's not anything. He's a hero. When he signed up to be a hero and adventurer, he knew the risks.
So I assume you're going in there too?
All of you are right here. Why don't you just go with him and help him?
Because he has a very special assignment. Now, why don't you all just shut up and watch the show?
If you send him in there, you're sending him in to kill him. And we've all seen it.
You've all seen it, have you? Oh dear. Well, I guess it's your word against ours, isn't it?
I'm like trying to pull and like get forward.
There's just no use. You've got so many people holding you in place.
You can't send him in. I'm like just shouting at them.
Moonlight pats Maxwell on the back, and he just sort of like, he's gathering a little bit more sense now, just kind of like wobbling forward, and he manages to spin his wands a little bit, and you can see like a wry smile on his face, like, yeah, it's all coming back. And he's just about to go off, and like you're shouting, he just doesn't seem to understand what's going on. And he just sort of like looks back at you and just kind of tips his hat and starts walking towards the monster.
And go shout. I'm like, Maxwell, listen to me. Don't go in there. Don't do it, Maxwell. Don't go in.
He just walks off not really understanding what's going on. You can feel sort of like tears welling up in your eyes. Liv, you hear something in the back of your head. A very exasperated patron who is kind of like, almost like you can feel his teeth gritting as he speaks. And they're just like, oh, okay, Iris, this is the big moment. We need to capture this. Where's the camera?
Camera's gone.
What do you mean the camera's gone?
They broke the camera.
What do you mean they broke the camera?
They broke the camera.
Well, we got to get a picture of this. This is what it's all been building up to, isn't it?
Yeah,
this is it. This is the forbidden knowledge. This is the thing that you've been hunting. You knew there was a creature here.
I know. Fix it. Can you fix it? Fix the camera.
Okay, all right. I need you to just make these cuffs a little bit looser, just a little bit.
Okay. To make this, she'll just try and struggle against them, but I assume that they're like...
Are you using strength, or are you trying to sort of, latch onto something and...
Yeah, she'll try and wiggle out of them if she can. That's
roll me a bit of sleight of hand.
Her preferred method. Sleight of hand should be better as a rogue, but it's not great. No, it's a 6.
Come on, Iris. Come on. All right, okay, this one's gonna hurt. Just on 3.
On 3 what?
On 3, just kind of pull your wrists apart on 3, okay?
What?
Just be very quiet, all right?
What do you mean?
Just all right. 1, 2, 3. Oh God! Ow! It's like it's just echoing in your head, this scream of agony. But you feel like a sort of surge of strength through your muscles, and it manages to just loosen the cuffs enough that you can kind of rest them on the heels of your boots. You're kind of kneeling. You manage to rest the cuffs a little bit so they're not touching your skin as much. He goes, oh, that's good. Oh, that's really, really good, actually, yeah. Oh,
okay,
God.
Tone it down.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that at all, Iris. I'll be honest, I really didn't like that.
Yeah, you and me both.
Okay, all right, okay. Camera. We need a camera,
They've
right?
snapped it. They've exposed the film. It's all gone. It's all gone. Everything, all my stuff, all my work, it's all gone.
Iris, stop. Make some noise. Make some kind of noise. Make a distraction. What the hell was that?
You said a noise!
Okay, well, you make something a bit more compelling. All right, that'll work.
She just keeps.
You hear inside of your skull. Yeah, everyone else is like, what is happening? You just heard Iris muttering to herself, and now she's doing like an opera sing. Inside of your skull, you hear what you assumed for a minute to be infernal, but it seems even older than that. You struggle to, like, there's maybe a few syllables you recognize, but there's some kind of confusing messaging going on. And then you feel just like a sort of snap, like something just changed in the world. Like you've just entered into some kind of different reality almost, but everything's just very, very slightly different. And he goes, okay, all right, what do you think?
What is this?
Well, look down, Iris. Around your neck. Is a camera that looks a lot more advanced than anything you've ever seen in the world. Just don't draw any attention to it, all right? Okay, all right, look.
So beautiful.
You've maybe got about 3 shots on that, because I struggled, all right? But make them count, yeah? This is what it's all been about, Iris. Don't worry about Maxwell. He knew what he was doing. Just get the shot. Just get the shot.
Get the shot.
You're all sort of stuck here just watching as Maxwell is kind of walking off to what you assume to be his doom. When there's a weird bit of movement on the top of the, like, sort of like maybe like the eye area of the face of this creature. Face is a strong word. This strange amorphous blob with this giant mouth gaping out. It's really bellowing. It's like shaking the earth as it shouts. And Maxwell is just sort of like walking up to it, trying to look cool, but like fumbling every now and again. Still not really sure of what's going on. And you see a flash of green hair as like a sort of someone is swinging on a piece of rope and your mother
Yeah.
swings around, and her giant sword just cleaves into the eye of this creature, and it screeches out in pain. On the other side, you see like a much smaller and more humble figure just throwing these strange contraptions that are just popping and exploding on the side. Pretty sure it's your parents.
I'm like still struggling as to like call after Max when I look, and I'm like, that's what a hero is, Moonlight. Do you see that? That's what a hero is. They're going out and they're helping people.
Technically an ex-hero, actually.
An ex-hero, they're more of a hero than you are.
All right, well. Your opinion's been noted.
With this, everyone's paying attention to what's going on with this monster and they're fighting it. Can she use Mage Hand to try and like break free of her shackles?
If you remember,
it stopped magical
the shackles have
abilities.
stopped your magical abilities, I'm afraid. I thought you didn't have any spell slots as well.
It's a
cantrip.
yeah.
My bad.
Okay.
Get that out.
Did her patron say that there was only like 3 shots on this? Okay. Cool. Iris is going to roll immediately as quick as she can backwards so that she can get a shot of everything, including her colleagues sat down and like facing Moonlight in the shot, and a shot of the monster and Maxwell.
How wide is this angle?
I know. She's going to try and get as much as possible in the shot. If she has to lean more into just like Moonlight and then...
Bear in mind,
Yes.
I think Iris would probably have this thought as well.
Yeah.
That if you make a commotion, you draw attention to the camera,
Okay.
which would be holding the shot that you're so desperate to grab.
Well,
Whatever you need to do, you should probably do it quietly.
Okay. Because her thought was, okay. Okay. Okay, fine. She will try and quietly then get a shot of these 3. Self each. No, yeah, just do that.
You're sort of like gesturing your body around, but your hands are still behind your back. And you're like, wait, how do I click it? What? How do I press the button? And again, like exhausted in the back of your head, your patient's just like,
I've never worked with this. This is weird. This
okay,
is
all right, fit that top open, Iris.
right.
The top, yeah, there you go. All right, okay, yeah, that's it. All right,
That's really cool.
yeah, okay, right.
Okay,
You're sort of doing this with your chin, just hoping that no one's noticing. You like hook a tooth underneath the flip.
Using like corn somehow.
Okay, all right. You see that? You see the view? Okay, just line up. What are you taking a photo of?
Ooh, you know what? What am I doing? And then she's gonna just like articulate her tail to like.
Nice.
And then that will take the shot.
Okay, what are you framing up?
Her 3 colleagues who are all
Bound.
and watching. Yeah.
Okay.
Pulling against it, just trying to run after Maxwell, but can't.
Okay. Your tail sort of cocks the shutter, and the very, very quiet little.
Then she's
That's,
going.
can you write down 1 out of 3 shots?
Okay. The camera meta. Love that. Okay.
You've got film ammunition.
Yeah. Then she's going to get a shot of Moonlight and all of the. Is Moonlight like beside like? Can I get a shot of Moonlight with the shot of everyone else, or is she like?
She's probably in that first shot you
Okay,
took. She like you haven't got the creature in it, but you've framed up government or hero agents wherever they're from, all constraining your colleagues, and Moonlight just sort of like
So they're like da-da.
smiling off at and they're all looking at something.
Okay. And then I'm gonna try and get one more shot of like the monster and Maxwell and Winona's parents. Yeah.
So it's far away. It's not the best zoom, for example. So you've got like a maybe sort of like 25% of the frame filled with the creature. So you can just make out the figure of Maxwell walking towards it with his wands out, and like maybe just a blur of Winona's mum just sort of swinging around and attacking this creature.
Okay, yeah.
Cock the shutter and... Okay. Iris?
Yeah.
One photo left.
Yeah.
Okay? What are you trying to do with this?
Tell people the truth. Tell people what happened.
But what story are you telling, Iris? What do you want the truth to be? Because the thing is, right now, it's in your hands.
I want people to know that the Hero and Adventurers Guild is completely corrupted.
How do you tell that? With just a picture. Think about it, Iris. You've got one shot left. Make it count, alright? Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm a bit tired. So I'm going to take a bit of a back seat for a bit.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, ignore that.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Anyone else want to do anything in the meantime? Maxwell is perhaps a few meters away from where he is going to be right in the vicinity of this creature.
Are these handcuffs key operated, or are they like release operated?
The ones that you had in the carriage were key operated, so you can probably assume that these are as well, but they, this time, are behind you.
Yeah. Can I use thaumaturgy?
No magic.
It's a... Oh, is it just magic? It's
Cantrips is magic, yeah.
yeah. Boo. Boo.
These guys do suck, huh?
I had such an incredible plan. And now you'll never get to know it. I think, like, Hunter, for his birth, he's probably sat fairly stoically wondering about how to, get out of this. And probably not making a lot of noise, just kind of watching on as this happens, but maybe, like, fiddling around behind his back with things, like trying to feel out. Because if it's, I'm chained, but can I get my hands together and like at least feel around the handcuffs to get a good idea of their shape and so on, so I can work out. Or I can see. I guess I can see the others.
Yeah, you could either look at the others, or you could sort of like rotate your wrists a bit and feel the kind of shape of them.
Okay. For now, I think that's all he's doing.
Okay. Anything for Carrieras?
Carrieras is just on her knees, just hair like covering her face, just.
No one to pull it back.
No, she's not saying or doing anything. She's exhausted.
Winona is just trying with all of her might just to run towards Maxwell. She's just trying to like not even get out of her cuffs, just trying to get away from whoever's holding her cuffs, and she's just like shouting after Maxwell. And she's
your throat is like raspy from screaming so much to the point where you're like coughing every time you shout. But he just doesn't. Either he doesn't hear you or he just doesn't want to. And from that moment, you see with his cloak sort of tattered and ripped, but billowing through the air, he's spinning his wands. And as the sun finally starts to just rise above the horizon, everything is just filled with this bright orange light, just silhouetting the creature. And you can hear your mum shouting at Maxwell as well. And again, he just doesn't seem to be listening. He grabs his two wands and starts like charging probably the biggest ball of energy you've ever seen above his head, to the point where there is like a swirling wisp of wind around him, bits of rubble sort of like just flicking up on the edges of the pattern. And he sort of swings it towards the creature, and it burns through the flesh, and again you hear it scream out in pain, but then immediately just turn itself to this small figure on the floor. Maxwell again is just blasting the spells of this giant mimic. You see, like, again, they're just like a small little figure on the top, but you see your mum and your dad sort of join together, and like there's a look of like, we need to go. From their body language, before they sort of grab onto that rope that your mum had attached to some sort of broken building and just use it to try and swing themselves down to the ground floor. But in a flash, there's just this eerie silence as this looming creature just hovers over Maxwell, its mouth poised to snap him up. And there is maybe a split second for something to happen.
I take the shot.
You take the shot.
Yeah.
Again, you cock the shutter and click. The frame in your head, you can see it before it's even been developed. Just Maxwell, quite heroically almost, just facing down this impossibly large creature, this huge jaw about to clamp down, and in a flash, you maybe even turn your head because you don't want to see it. There's just a...
I think when Ona watches, she just like falls to her knees, but she watches the entire time.
From behind you, you hear Moonlight say, "Good. Press the button." There's a click.
Yeah.
And from inside the giant mimic,
Yep.
a muffled explosion.
I think when Ona just screams.
Light pierces through the skin of the creature as it is torn apart from the inside, and this hail of flesh just explodes outwards. There's like a rain of viscera on top of you.
Cariaris doesn't even react.
Yeah, you hear the screaming of the refugee camp on the other side of the fields, and Moonlight is just laughing.
I think while this is happening, similar to Cariaris, like Hunter, he's seen his share of really kind of bad things happening. He's reported from various places, so I think he's obviously watching, but isn't necessarily like traumatized by it, I guess.
I think it's safe to say this is probably the worst thing you've seen, though.
Yeah. While this is happening and everyone's attention is turned towards it, I'm a tortoise, so I have claws. Mm-hmm. And these handcuffs are key operated, right? Mm-hmm. Can I try to use a claw inside the lock?
Hunter, roll me sleight of hand.
Oh, sleight of hand. You're so cruel with sleight of hand.
What else? If you can try and tell me what other skill it would be.
Can I persuade the lock to
Yes, I charmed the lock.
Oh,
Doesn't count.
That was a 17. Will I roll better? No, it was a 9.
It's like the stubbiness of your claws. It's very difficult to try and rotate them enough around to get to the keyhole, let alone put them in and try and pick with them. But there's just a sort of moment of horror. You can feel like the pit of your stomach just bottoming out as you just see this horror show in front of you, like the worst thing you've ever seen in your entire lives. And in a moment, what feels like 10 seconds was probably 10 minutes, and suddenly you're hoisted up, you're shoved in the back of a carriage, the doors are closed, and we will skip forward a few hours.
Can I just say that before that happens, Iris kind of like mumbles to herself and to her patron, "You tell a story with a picture." That's what you do.
You can feel like the equivalent of an ethereal nod, but he's struggling to speak at the moment. They haven't got much of an energy to them right now. And you can almost barely feel their presence, like it's just scratching at the back of your head. We skip forward a few hours. If there was anything that you wanted to talk about in the carriage ride, then let me know. But if not, you've arrived at your destination.
Cariaris doesn't say anything.
Yeah, I feel like it's just kind of silent contemplation.
Mm-hmm.
Iris will move and sit next to you. She won't say anything, but she'll just sit next to you.
It's maybe 7 a.m. from the height of the sun. You're looking around and you're in a much more populated area. You can tell that. Maybe Scarby, given the distance that you travelled. It feels more like a city than Ragrump, that's for sure. And you're at the back of some kind of nondescript building, just red brick and like very dingy windows. And as you're pulled out, some bags are put over your head, and you're sort of thrust through corridors and eventually just sort of sat down on this metallic chair, still handcuffed. And the bags are ripped off, and you're in some kind of interrogation room of some description. Hunter, you immediately notice the double mirror. Like it's very bleak, very metallic looking, and currently, outside of the agent who sort of pulled your bags off and then walked out of the room, you are alone for what feels like maybe like 30 minutes of just sitting there waiting to meet your fate. Just 4 metallic chairs sat on the same side of a long metallic table, and just one slightly more comfortable looking chair sat empty across from you. And there is a click from the door behind you. And the sound of echoing heels sort of like clicking against the floor. You see a very well-dressed woman walk around the side of the table. Cariaris, you feel immediately like your tongue is retracting into your throat. Everything's dry. You feel like you're sweating because you know that gate anywhere. Because your mother is currently sat across the table from you, sternly looking at the 4 of you.
You're in hands. Hi.
Yes, I've seen the signs.
She's not looking at.
No,
She's not looking
just
at her mother.
straight down.
Yeah.
Cariaris. Carrie, look at me right now.
She sits back. She's looking at her. Yep.
I'll start with you. What happened?
She just starts laughing. Very quietly. Laughing.
Well, I'm glad you find it so amusing, Cariaris.
Oh, mother. Oh. How have things been? You've been very busy, I've heard. From your assistant.
Not as busy as I am now, Cariaris.
Did she tell you that I called? Did she say anything?
She did.
Oh, she did. That's really nice. I'm surprised, honestly. I thought it wasn't worth your attention.
She pulls from her bag a long, slender cigarette, lights it, and starts like puffing the smoke towards you.
Oh, she's cool.
She's done that when you really messed up. You know, that kind of disdainful, you can breathe my toxic air for a bit. And she sort of looks around to the rest of the group, just kind of like gently floating it in her hands, and just says, does anyone have anything to say for themselves as representatives of the ONC?
I personally think we should wait for a lawyer.
You don't have a lawyer, Iris.
And we can get one.
Not in this situation, no. This is an internal investigation.
So, what kind of work did you have to be pulled on to do this then, Mother? Important emails? Documents? Maybe one of those holidays that you enjoy so much? Oh, do you remember we used to go on those together? Can't remember the last time we did that. Where was it? The jacuzzi spa? The beach? Please, I want to hear everything.
Cariaris, do you have any idea the level of trouble that you are in? Do you have any idea the repercussions of the actions that you have taken across your little internship in Ragrump? Do you have any idea the risk you've put my company in? Do you even comprehend the levels of red tape I had to go through to stop you from being disappeared?
I mean, probably a few days ago, I was almost digested by an enormous monster. So honestly, being disappeared seems to sound pretty good at this point. Of course, I'd be surprised if you even knew that happened.
Oh, I know everything that happened, Cariaris, or at least I've heard reports from those that were attempting to keep control of you. But I want to hear your side. I want to hear what you think you saw over the last few weeks.
We saw them kill Maxwell Morgan.
You saw who kill Maxwell Morgan, sweetie?
The Heroes and Adventurers Guild and Moonlight.
The Heroes and Adventurers Guild weren't actually present at the event. Maxwell did it on his own pro bono, shall we say, work.
They sent him to die.
Hunter, this isn't the first time you've been sat across me on a table like this, is it?
No, this one's a little nicer than the ones before. But I suppose, we're in good company.
Yes. I don't like to go into the rooms that you would have been taken into before. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
Seems like you already know. Or at least you know what you want to know.
I want to know if everyone around this table is capable of cooperating. That's what I want to know. I want to know how much their livelihoods mean to them. How much they want to ever get any kind of job for the foreseeable future. Or if they are happy to become destitute, slipped through some gutter somewhere, and forgotten by the rest of society. And yes, that does include you, my dearest daughter.
Do you really mean that?
Yes, I do.
You would cast me aside?
Cast you aside. Do you have any idea how many opportunities I've given you, Cariaris, that you've thrown away time and time again? I put you in Ragrump because I thought, perhaps, that something as small as that would be, maybe, too easy for you, perhaps. But you even managed to mess that up, didn't you? You even managed to become part of some horrible conspiracy in the smallest, most incomprehensibly meaningless town in all of the kingdom. But no. No, you've had enough opportunities, I think. No more handouts from Mummy.
When they said that you knew what was going on with everything and you were covering it up, I stood up for you. I said that you wouldn't do that. No, Mummy would never do that. She's a respectful figure in the media industry. Why?
Speak up, Cariaris. Say what you want to say.
I'm your daughter. You really would just get rid of me?
You were my daughter, Cariaris. I gave you ample opportunities to be my daughter.
She just puts her head down, just starts crying.
She's almost sort of just waves away the compassion that you're trying to show her, like it's another annoyance. And she reaches underneath the table and presses some kind of buzzer. You hear and the door opens. And a short, stout man walks behind you, grumbling around the table. Findus Pancake, your editor, arrives and just like you is kind of staring at his feet, trying not to make too much eye contact. And he says, "Yes, ma'am. Can I help?" "No, I think you've helped quite enough, Findus. You and your team here are all fired. I'm sure that is quite obvious. But if let me make this perfectly clear. The ONC, you talked about lawyers earlier, Iris. Well, you should see the lawyers that we have at our disposal. In fact, we take things like libel quite seriously, slander. So, if I hear a whiff of anything that you've seen over the past few weeks, I'll know where it came from, I'll know who to look for, and I will use the full extent of our powers to grind you into the dust, to the point where not only will what you saw be forgotten, but you as people will never see the light of day again. Death would be a mercy to the fate that I would compel you with. Do you understand me?" There's a white-hot rage behind her eyes. You can almost see the pupils inside of her irises just sort of laser-focused into the souls of each of you. she's like crumpling the cigarette in her hand as she speaks, to the point where it's probably burning her skin, but she barely notices it. She looks at it, throws it on the floor, and just says, "So, you'll all be put in a carriage. You'll go for a very, very long ride back to where you came from, and you will find that things are maybe not quite how you remember them. You might be confused at the state of the town that you just left, but if there are any questions from your mouth, and just remember, we will be watching, then it will become very clear the decision that you have made. Do you understand?"
Understood.
Very well. Now, Iris, I don't know where you got that camera from. Findus? She sort of snaps her finger, and he sort of places it on the table in front of her. But we've developed your little pictures and didn't find anything in them. So you can have it, I suppose. It's not the one that we issued you. In fact, I think that one's been...
Disposed of.
Yes, disposed of. Anything else that you found in the town of Ragrump that isn't your own personal belongings has been confiscated. And a lot of the people that you met have had a very similar conversation to the one that you've had today, and will probably not be very open to talking. Do I make myself very clear?
You're not going to get away with this.
What was that?
You think you will? You can't just make something like this disappear. It might not even be us. There's a whole town of people that saw what happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you follow their lead and just pretend like you saw nothing, Winona? Because I can make something like this disappear, and it wouldn't be the first time. So you just remember that next time you have any little ideas that spring in your head. Now, I'm finished here. I'll be getting on a very long and very arduous carriage ride back to Steadfast. You will also be going on a very long and a much less comfortable carriage ride back to Ragrump. I'm so sorry that your time here was so short-lived. You should visit Scarby. It's a nice little city, if you get the chance. Just remember, you won't be coming here on any kind of official capacity. You'll receive your official papers on the termination of your contracts very shortly. Just remember this conversation that we had here today. Remember it like your lives depend on it. Because they do. She sort of swings the chair back. There's the kind of the legs.
As she does, I think Winner shoves forward and tries to shove the table to push into her. I'm like, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna get away with it. You can't just do stuff like this to people.
She snaps her fingers, and your mouth forces itself closed.
I will just catch your eye and just shake my head slightly,
I'm just pulling on my chair and shoving the table and stuff. I'm assuming it's all bolted to the ground.
No.
Are we finished? She stands up, looks over the table, and says, "Now remember, I don't want to see any of you ever again. Especially you, Cariaris. So I guess we'll call this goodbye." And she very coolly and calmly walks around the table and out the door.
As she's walking away, Carrier is just gonna go, Mummy, please.
Just the sound of a door
Please.
slamming.
Please don't leave me.
You know, it's just trying to kick the table and trying to pull at the restraints and stuff. Just just.
Eventually the whatever she did to you just starts to wear off, and you feel like a numb feeling in your mouth, as if it's been like anesthetized or something.
They're not gonna get away with it. They can't just do this and get away with it. Everyone saw it. It's just like...
Has Findus also been fired?
Findus slumps into the chair where your mother was, and just sort of...
The whole time Carrie's just been going, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy! Like she's completely lost it. She's like a child, just crying out.
Findus kind of rolls his eyes a little bit, and he's just like, Can we get the handcuffs off of these people, please? They've been read their rights. You hear a door open, and finally, like the bruising on your wrists feels some kind of relief as some very tall agent figures kind of untie the handcuffs, place them back in pockets, and leave the room.
As they're leaving the room, Carrie's gonna try and like get up and run, like to the door.
Can I just like stand up and try and stop you? Just like Carrie's just.
No, she's trying to run to the door with all of her might.
Very, very large orc in a suit, just sort of staring down at you. Just filling the door frame.
She's
like,
trying to push past them.
If you run, you bounce off of her.
Yeah, she's trying to push past them. Yeah. Just yelling, Mommy, please, I promise, I'll do better. I won't do it again. Please don't leave me.
There's no response.
She needs time. Can we get out of here?
Yeah, they're gonna be picking us up in a bit. You might not remember it, but you've all signed a lot of paperwork since you've been here. Or at least it's gonna look like you did, if you catch my drift. Me too.
Good to know.
Hunter's just like, how tight is it? Because presumably, like, he and Findus have been for a kind of like NDA dance before. Like they've dealt with this, not this level, but
yeah, this ain't no regular embargo, Hunter. this I wouldn't if I were you. Look, I know this was maybe not how you expected this to go, but just give it some time. And he gives you a very strange look. Let's just go home. All right?
Yeah.
Carrie's isn't looking at him. She's just trying to like look around the orc, like out the door.
After maybe sort of like 20 minutes of Carriara sort of like pleading at the door and just kind of waiting uncomfortably, eventually there's like someone walks behind this giant orc woman and just sort of like whispers in her ear. She nods. She says, all right, time to go. And she kind of like opens herself up like a door and just kind of gestures you back through the corridor that you walked on your way there.
Carriaris immediately runs through it.
Again, so many agents. As you get to the end of the corridor, you just see carriage doors. They've like blocked off the entire entrance, just leading you back into this metallic tub almost that you've been riding in for the past few hours.
She doesn't go inside.
That's the only option, I'm afraid.
She's gonna stand in the corridor.
Are you? What are you doing? Are you fighting someone? Are you trying to like?
She's refusing to go into the carriage. She's just standing there.
They're just waiting for you.
Yeah.
It's just an impasse.
Yeah.
If you're all following, then eventually you sort of are blocked by Carriara, so she's just refusing to enter.
I'm gonna say to the gods, like, you're gonna have to put her in there.
They sort of look at each other and go, and you're swarmed by about 4 different people.
Yeah.
Who just trying to grab, and again, I'm assuming, you're just sort of flailing. Roll strength for me.
3.
Well, one of them rolled a 1, so you punched him in the face. And they just sort of fling you into the carriage. The rest of you either are willfully or forcefully put in.
Going straight in.
The doors are locked behind you, and you're just submerged in darkness, just shouting off into the void. Nothing seems to be happening to you that you have any control over. And you feel the familiar rumble of the dirt beneath your carriage as you are hoisted back in the same direction that you came from.
Mary just got an arrow and she's just like carving into like the wood or something, or like pulling at the upholstery, just like repetitively, just like jabbing at stuff, like pulling out with the arrow just over and over.
I am going to sit next to Findus. I'm going to murmur to him. Still have to wait.
Just wait till the carriage ride is gone at the very least, okay?
Yep.
All right.
Carrier's just crying into her hands now. Just head down, just sobbing.
Is there somebody who ain't me who can kind of help her with that?
Iris is about to do rock, paper, scissors. Nobody can see but me. Iris will go and sit next to you.
Doesn't notice.
Yeah, I know. It's pitch black as well, probably, right? So.
You consoling her in any way?
Hi.
Doesn't notice.
Yeah. I'm going to put my arms around you, and I'm sorry about that. So she just
doesn't react.
yeah, just patting, just comforting.
Yeah.
Pat.
There's a lot of that over the next 2 hours as you are.
She does
Sent.
eventually like cry herself to sleep.
Yeah.
She's at one point she's just like
Just exhausted.
Iris is like
Soaked shirt.
Yeah, just drooling down you. It's maybe at like 90 minutes into the ride, Finnis is like, God, that really does echo in the middle, doesn't it? But eventually, after a bit of riding, the carriage comes to a stop. And you're all just sort of almost blinded by the doors being open behind you.
Can I say, by the way, that during the journey, because our hands are free again, right? We've been unchained. Hunter just spends it basically writing down in whatever notepad he has to hand as much as he can possibly remember, because we haven't been able to actually jot anything down for several hours. So.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good to know. You can make a note of that if you want. Transcript of events.
Basically, yeah.
At which point, the carriage doors are just sort of swung open and there's no one there. It's just like the kind of quiet murmuring of some kind of town outside.
Kairos wakes up.
And Winona just like stands up at the start and just like storms out of the carriage.
As you storm out, again, your eyes take a little while to adjust. But you feel like a sludgy mud beneath you. And you look around and you're right outside the office. The street is back. Everything's normal.
Go up and like touch the building.
Feels like brick. You maybe catch the eyes of someone carrying their groceries and they just put their head down and walk past you.
What? How?
I'll step out too.
You see the same, just you're in Ragrump.
Carriera steps out, sees the town there, and is like momentary kind of, you see like the shock on her face, and then just falls off.
Of course.
In my years of reporting, have I known anything like this? So I would have no idea. Like, there's not like a rumored branch of whatever.
This is bizarre. To the point where you start having to pinch yourself and you're like, this can't exist. It's been, what, a few hours? Like, what's happening? Why is everything back to normal?
Do I know of any place like that would be best to talk without prying eyes? Or do I know a place that I think might not be affected by any potential bugs that the ONC might have in place right now?
The woods.
I mean,
My clubhouse in the woods.
I mean,
Nobody knows about this. And boys aren't allowed in.
sorry,
Hunter.
You can sit at the bottom of the tree.
You're racking your brain, trying to think, like, God, where would be safe? And then you just feel like at your kind of like thigh level, just like a sort of nudge. And you look down and Findus is like...
Yeah, I follow. I try and get everyone to come. Like, we should go sort our things before we
fine.
leave.
Or the fight's going on. She's just like so confused. Yeah, she just like kind of follows behind.
Cariaris goes into the office, immediately goes in the toilet, closes the door, locks it.
It's probably for the best.
I needed to pee. It's been 4 hours.
He leads you all into the office. Well, after Cariaris has already sprinted through.
Yeah, she just walks
Yeah.
into the toilet, closes it, locks the door.
Gone. Okay.
On the table in the center of the office, which is just empty, there are just 4 cardboard boxes with your name sort of maybe spelled right, with all of your stuff just shoved in haphazardly. Findus sort of acknowledges them, peers his head round into his office and goes, "Yep," and sees one of his own. Just, hey, everyone. Thank you very much for your time working here for the Sarsaya Star. I've been informed that the Ragrump branch will be closing, which means all of your contracts are terminated. There is paperwork inside of the boxes. We'll tell you more about that. You know, it's been an honor or whatever to be your editor. Perhaps we should have a little goodbye drink, you know? We should reminisce or whatever it is that people do with those kind of things. You're all welcome at my house.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. I think a good stiff drink would be sorely needed right now, so.
All right, well, for obvious reasons, I never actually told you my address, but let me just write it down.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hands you a piece of paper. 7 p.m. I'll see you all there, okay? Just, don't bring any friends. No +1s at this event, okay?
You got it.
Okay.
Walks into his office, hoists up his big box of stuff, yanks the phone off of the wall, smacks it into the box. Saying, "I'll be taking that."
Take the tails out of the
Yeah, I look around for like some boxes of pens. Like,
Yeah.
I start like peeling wire out the walls.
There's a copper pipe.
You see Findus grabbing like some toilet rolls, you know, all that kind of stuff. And he's like, "I'll see you all there, okay? Including Cariaris? Somebody gonna go tell her?"
Yeah, she lives with me, so I'll wait till we can walk home together.
All right then. I will see you all later. Just you all later.
Just us.
And he walks out the building. And you're sort of just stood in the corpse of your office, staring around at all of the familiar cobwebs that you've been staring up at for the past few weeks or months or years. And it's just eerily silent. You see like the desks of the couple of other people who used to work there have also been cleared out. It's quite a somber atmosphere.
Iris is going to take the new camera off from around her neck and put it in the box. And then she's going to say, "I'll see you all at 7. And pick up the box. and go back to where she lives, where presumably she had a little studio to develop photos.
A dark room, if you will.
Yes.
Would you like to develop your film? Because it's strange, Iris. You're looking at it.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it's been developed right.
No, it's funny. I think I would like to give it a go.
Periods.
You walk into your apartment, and what used to be the bathroom has been developed. It turned into this.
Yeah.
Basically, you've got like a red film over a candle that you can snuff at your.
I can still pee in there. I can see the dark.
Yeah, you've like used kind of tar and stuff like that to sort of black off the sides of the door. There's like towels that you stuff under to try and get like a pure seal. And the toilet in the corner is still accessible when needed. At which point your patron sort of perks up and he's like, "Oh God, oh that's nice actually. Oh yeah, the dark's good. Yeah, thanks for that, Iris."
Yeah, you got it.
Wait, what are we doing exactly?
Well, they said that the film. They said that there were no shots on the camera.
Idiots.
I thought as much. Yeah. So
You didn't develop the film, right? Yeah.
What?
You didn't develop the film yet.
Not
though.
yet. No.
Oh, gee. Oh, God.
No.
Thank God for that, because there is. There's a very particular process. He sort of like rattles it off in your head, and you're just like, do I own those chemicals? And he's like,
wrong.
we'll
Okay.
we'll find them. And over the period of sort of the next kind of like hour or two, eventually you've got this small roll of film, wet and hanging from like the bar of the shower curtain. Like normally you would just leave them, check them in the morning or something like that, but you're just sort of sat there
Staring,
patiently. And over time, as you turn that red light on, you just see like just an image appearing. One that just wasn't there before. One that you would have expected to have seen already in the development process is just sort of bleeding across the negative. And as you sort of hold them up to the light, you see the perfectly framed shots. People with handcuffs on, a giant creature being affronted by Maxwell Morgan. And all of a sudden it feels like you have one of the most important and yet dangerous pieces of plastic you've ever seen in your life, just hanging from your shower curtain rail.
Copies. I make lots and lots of copies.
You spend the next few hours with a print machine,
Yeah.
magnifying these negatives to the point where they've been burnt almost because you've just been copying and copying and copying and copying. What's everyone else up to meanwhile?
I think Hunter spends probably the same time, like, once we're in the office, just sits down at what was his desk and just writes and writes and writes for hours of just every detail he can possibly remember. Any names that were mentioned, any kind of, like, insignia on uniforms, or the make of the trousers that he ripped off. Just
Very
every
important,
single
very good.
thing
Yeah.
that he could trace back before it fades from his memory.
You see the clock tick over, and you're like, okay, it's getting time, and you sort of grab your things and sort of tuck maybe your notes away
I was
in a
going to
place.
say, they'll go in my shell.
Yeah, where people aren't going to see them. You lock the house door behind you, and this I think it's the first time we've seen your domicile, isn't it? You're in kind of.
I reckon he'd just do it at the office, honestly. I think he would just sit down at the desk, like, no pause, just look at the box, which personal possessions probably mostly empty,
Yeah,
and he would just sit down.
there's a mug.
Just, yeah.
It's not even yours. I'm gonna put something in here.
World's greatest dad. Iris nicked it for you. You're doing all this and you're like, okay, it's time to head off. So you lock the office behind you. And just in the corridor, as you shut the doors and then you turn around, you're in the corridor and there's just a man in a boiler suit just mopping the floor, looking at you. He gives you a nod and goes back to his work.
Terrible spy. That's so obvious.
Can I read whether this is? I mean, I assume it is someone that's been planted there, but can I?
Oh, he was making you very aware of his
okay.
presence.
Yeah.
He wasn't hiding.
Hunter
himself.
just tips his hat and he's like, "Give my regards to the boss."
Just gives you a steely look and goes back to just mopping the floor.
It's
Hunter
Jonathan
walks
Chicken
away.
Scratch.
It is not. How dare you? How dare you?
Never.
Jonathan Chicken Scratch is a saint.
He's the one that's gonna blow this whole thing over.
He's a hero. You Sully's name.
Kariaris, what have you been up to
She's been in the toilet.
this entire time?
Yep.
That means I've been sat outside the toilet this entire time.
Yeah, you're exhausted. Like, oh, Kariaris.
Yeah,
is
that was
it
what-
okay.
Carrie, do you want me to go back to mine? Do you want to come out? You can sit in the toilet there. It's nicer.
It is a lot nicer.
She's just been in the toilet. She doesn't respond. She is just in the toilet.
Can Winona hear anything from the toilet?
No.
Just silence.
Definitely silence. Almost like so silent that it's weird.
Little toot.
Oh, what?
Little toot.
Sob.
I know when I'm sad, I fart all the time.
Misery farts.
Pop sound is out, yeah.
That's what they call us.
She has been despondent in the toilet.
Carrie, I want to go home. Can't just leave you here. Please come out so I can go home. I know you've had a really bad day, but I've also had a really bad day, and I really, 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 really want to go home.
She opens the door a crack. You see like her eye there. She says, "I'm not stopping you from going home. Goodbye. Have a nice time." Closes the door.
Carrie, I'm obviously not going to just leave you in the toilet here. You're staying at my house.
She opens the door again and says, "Oh, no, I'm perfectly happy here. Don't worry. Go home, honestly."
She's living in the toilets again.
I can't go home until you come home with me.
I don't know why you can't go home. Nothing's stopping you.
I just told you I can't go home until you come home with me.
Winona, my dear, I'm not coming home with you. I'm staying here.
So you live in the toilet now?
Yep. I live in the toilet. I deserve to be in the toilet.
Because I'm a
I
stinky poo.
belong in this toilet. So please, I beg you, go home to your family.
I can't go home until you come home with me, Kariaris, so I'm going to have to sit here all night, and I really don't want to. You don't live in the toilet. There's not even like a window in there.
Oh, God!
Kariaris fully opens the door and is standing there. And she says, "Winona, I think that maybe we should accept that this," and points towards like her and Winona, "is not a thing anymore. Mother very clearly said that this whole thing, all of this," gesturing all around her, "bad. Very bad. Very bad. And I will be going to Fennis's tonight to apologise and thank him for his invitation. But after that, I will be leaving Ragrump. So thank you very much for waiting with me and for the invitation. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to decline. So I please beg you to go home to your family."
I don't care if you don't want to be my friend, but you're not living in a toilet. Where are you going to go?
I mean, like I said, I'm not going to live in the toilet. I'm going to go back to Steadfast.
Carrie, you know you can't do that.
Look, this has happened so many times before. I do something wrong, I mess up, I make myself an embarrassment to myself, to Mother. And then I go back to her and apologise, and things are good again. So, don't worry about me, honestly. Go home. Go to your parents. It's been a really difficult time, Being here with me is really not the best place for you. It's going to be alright. Don't worry.
Don't patronise me. Don't just stand there and say, I don't want to be your friend, and then give me this stuff that I should just go home and forget about you. You are my friend, Carrier. I shouldn't want to be my friend, but I'm your friend, even if you don't want to be mine. And I'm not just going to let you run away back to your mom who's been horrible to you. Fine, I'll just sit here all night then if that's what you're going to do. And I'll just sit down on the floor.
Okay. I can't stop you.
You can't. I'm going to sit here all night, and then we'll go to Findus's together. Even if you don't talk to me, I'm going to be stood next to you.
If I can't stop you, then, you have your own free will. So,
I do. I'm free to sit here.
Well, see you at what? Well, I don't know how far Findus's house is. In fact, I don't know where it is, because...
You weren't out of the toilet, so yeah.
So if you could show me the way when it's time, that would be fantastic.
I will show you the way.
Relayed.
Yeah.
Okay. Closes the toilet door again. Back in the toilet.
Winona spends the next few hours furiously sat next to a toilet door.
Oh, sorry.
You hear... But okay, the canon slightly changed. So these two were with you at that point when you walked out and locked the door.
I mean, the toilet could be somewhere else.
Yeah, the toilet could be in the main building,
been there
I
the
guess.
entire
Yeah,
time.
that's fine.
I'd also like to say, if there's no window in the toilet, I assume there's just one toilet. It seems like the kind of office that's just like one shared toilet.
Yeah.
Can someone have scratched Windus on the bathroom wall at some point?
Windus is fake.
So, we snap forward. It's 6:50 p.m. You are walking to Findus's house. Findus lives on the outskirts of town. It's very strange walking through town because you can feel everyone's eyes averting from you.
Kararis is strangely upbeat and sort of, like it's like she's not even aware that she looks like crap. Yeah, she's just like walking with her usual gait, even though like one of her heels is like
Shortened, yeah.
like
bent.
no, when it's like coming away from the bottom of the shoe, she's like stumbling every so often.
Yeah.
But yeah,
refusing to acknowledge it.
Yep.
You arrive.
I think I meet everyone there.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's been like a steely silence throughout the entire walk. But you arrive at Findus's, you knock on the door, he lets you in. And you come into his very, very humble abode. It's not the cleanest place. It's like if they have reconstructed this town, somehow they've also reconstructed all of the filth that Findus had on the floor. Because, he sort of like shuffles a pair of pants with his foot as he's like, yeah, come in. Don't worry about that. All right,
Man's had 3 hours to clean us.
Yeah, I spruced the place up a little bit, but
You did?
yeah, don't worry about it. Okay, why don't you take a seat? He sort of like throws a clothes pile out of the way of the like dusty leather couch that he's got in the living room.
No.
He roots around in his like cabinet for a bottle of something. He's like, yeah, that'll do. Holds up some kind of indiscriminate liquor, and starts pouring out some glasses. 5 of them, in fact. Passes them out. He looks at you, and he's like, "Can you?"
Yes.
All right. And he goes, "Well,
I hit it on the table and immediately knock it back.
okay, I was gonna do a toast, but I still will.
I'll do another then.
All right, just
Yep.
don't.
Yep. Cool. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there you go." All right, everybody. It's a shame that the Sasai Star Ragrump office is closing. Of course, we don't have much information on why, but we can all assume that it's some kind of budgetary issue. But, you all did fine work. Your time here, as short as it might have been for some of you, and I'm proud of you. So, to Ragrump. Lifts the glass up for you all to cheers, and you take a sip. It's not very nice, whatever it is.
Yeah, Carrie Iris just goes.
Let it fall out the mouth.
No, it goes back in the glass.
Yeah.
Like that.
I watch what Iris does, and Iris drinks it so smoothly. I'm like,
Must look cool.
Carrie says, "Thank you very much for those wonderful words, Findus. Excellently spoken. I just wanted to say, thank you, all of you. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful support, excellent colleagues. Even though our time together was short, I will not forget you. I'm leaving.
Where do you think you're going?
Well, my internship is finished. The office was closed, as Findus said, due to budgetary reasons.
I did say that.
Now there is no longer an office to work at.
That is also true. They will be demolishing the building.
Okay.
I will be returning back to Steadfast.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure Mother will be expecting me. I will
Mother-
get on the soonest carriage I can acquire, and heading back. Hopefully, I'm sure there's. I'll probably go away for a few weeks somewhere. Catch up with some people.
That sounds real nice, Carrie Iris. I hope you have a good time. Whatever it is you do. Oh, you were looking at that. I'm sorry. But look, before we get to all of that, let's just enjoy tonight for as long as it may take. Probably the last time we'll all see each other again. So, I'm just gonna close these curtains over here. Maybe put on some music. He reaches over to like
I love that one. You should turn it up. It's really good.
Whoa! Party time in here, am I right, folks? Oh, let me close this door. I wouldn't want anyone joining in on the party.
I go around helping, like, closing things.
Carrier is looking very confused.
I tell you what, folks, why don't we make some room for dancing? Yeah, everybody fancy a dance?
Yeah.
Oh, yada yada, samba samba. He's just sort of like moving
Carrier
into...
is looking very embarrassed now. Like, no.
He's very much not dancing as he
Okay.
walks over to the couch and starts pushing it. And he's like, oh, Carrie Iris, you got fine dancing skills, I see. Iris, where did you learn that?
Got it from my mama.
You've been to New Dwarf City before? Oh.
Hey, yo!
And as he pushes apart the couches, he starts to pull at the rug on the floor. And underneath the rug is a trapdoor. And he's like, well, why don't we all just enjoy the music and be very quiet for a bit, huh? Huh, everyone?
Yeah.
Let's all be very quiet. And he opens up the cellar door to reveal a staircase underneath the floor.
What?
I'm just gonna shove Carrie Iris down. I'm done.
Oh, Carrie Iris, be careful with that punch ball.
Push it down the stairs. Is she gonna take damage from that?
No. You're being, forcefully led down
Yeah,
the
she's
stairs.
like,
No.
what you? No, what are you doing?
I know that you did that. It's truth or dare. I know you did. You can't say no.
Oh,
I know you did
no
that.
HR department now. Oh! You're all sort of like gently pushed down the stairs, and Findus sort of closes the trapdoor behind you.
As Hunter goes down, he's like, yeah, party.
You're like scraping against the sides of the stair walls.
I pop my head up once more to be like, consent is important. And then close the door.
Oh, I'd love it for that to be the last thing you hear. Okay, as you're sort of like led down the stairs, it's dark, it's dusty, it's grimy. And eventually you're led into the cellar of Findus's house. And you hear him just go click, and a light starts to illuminate the room around you. And you see some kind of makeshift newsroom underneath his house. But you don't see a single piece of paper that says Saucire Star anywhere. There's a big corkboard on the wall with red string being pulled around things. You see pictures of Maxwell Morgan and Moonlight, the Hero and Adventurers Guild logo. In the corner, there's like a few sort of desks where it looks like someone has hung a coat up and things like that. Findus apparently has a desk right at the other edge of the room. It's all sort of like dingy cobble flooring, and there's like rags hung up on the walls. It's very sort of like quite smelly and a little bit damp feeling, but you were not aware that this existed. And as you get away from the stairway and the sort of loudly blaring gramophone upstairs, Findus just sort of walks over to his desk and just tries to coolly lean against it, but is a little bit too short, so he just kind of ends up just sitting on the edge of the desk and just leaning forward. And he goes, "All right, this room, soundproof. Nobody knows about it. Nobody knows it exists. I'm pretty sure they're around the building, but they won't come in. So we can talk."
This is really cool.
Thank you. I thought so too.
Yeah.
I'm glad to share it with you all.
This is very impressive, Findus. But I don't know why you've taken us down here.
I'm going to make something very clear, especially to you, but I want to say it to all of you. We are going to destroy Philonia West.
Yes.
And the Heroes and Adventurers Guild, and I don't care what it costs. We're taking them down.
One step at a time, Iris, but you're right.
I don't know why you would say that. It's very odd.
I think, once again, with the niggling in the back of her head, Iris just steps forward and she's like, "Your mother despises you. She despises all of us. And she's gonna take you down. She might kill you. And we don't want that to happen. So maybe think about working with us on this."
Look, I'm already in so much trouble.
So what's a bit more?
She's got a point.
She will take me back.
No, she won't, Cariaris. This is the final straw. You know that.
I just have to say, do better. I just have to, if I go back to her, if I say I'm sorry, I'll do anything she wants. I can go back, like.
You said you called her.
Yeah, but
Before we went into the monster, you said you called, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
She left you.
Like, I've seen her angry before. It's fine.
You could have died. We all worked together. We saved you. We saved all of us. We saved the town. And I'm not going to stand for this. I'm not. I'm done. I'm done with people covering up the truth. I'm done with it.
And she's going to stand up and look at you. And she says, "It's very easy for you to say, oh, we're going to take her down. We're going to destroy her. We're going to take down ONC. She's awful to you. She hates you. All I have. She's all I have. Okay?" And she just sort of drops that usual polite sort of persona she has, and she's like got this desperate look in her eyes. And she says, "She is all I have.
You have us.
I have nothing. I am destitute. I have no worth, no skills, no friends, nothing. My mother is all I have. And now, if she gets rid of me, then I am nothing. Okay? So you have to understand why I have to go back to her, because I am a worthless piece of garbage. and she is all I have, and I have to apologize for her, even if I have to get down on my grubby, pathetic knees and beg to her. I have to, because otherwise I die in a ditch. Forgotten and loved, uncared for. So, Iris, that's why I have to go back, and I cannot destroy her.
Carrie Iris,
What?
what you're saying is not untrue. Hold on. Okay, just 1 second. You have been living in your mother's shadow for a long time now, but your whole life. Let's just look. We're all speaking truths today, all right? This is what this whole meeting is about. Yeah, speaking truths. What do you want to be remembered for when you go? Do you want to be Felonia's little sidekick? Or do you want to do something yourself? Do something that you made for you. Change the world in some maybe small and insignificant way, but do you not want to leave things different than how you found them?
I can't. I bring nothing of worth. I mean, she is right. You have to, I can't just become someone else overnight. You see, you've all got these grand, impressive ideas of, fighting the system and screw her and whatever. And, that's very cool and very noble. But I just can't transform into a person overnight that I'm not. Okay?
We're not asking you to. We're just asking you to take one step with us.
It's a pretty big step, Winona.
It's a huge step, Carrie Iris.
Just casting aside the one family member I have, and sure, yeah, I was there. It was awfully embarrassing, degrading even, to have your own mother cast you aside like dirt, like trash, in front of everyone.
Carriers, that was not embarrassing for you, that was embarrassing for her. She's the one who should be embarrassed. That was the most vile thing I've ever seen.
What does she have to be embarrassed by? She has everything.
I'd be pretty embarrassed if she's gonna lose you.
You saw how easy it was for her. I mean, I don't know how I've honestly been so blind. I mean, pathetic. Like a minute ago, I was willing to run back to her. And you know what? If she came here right now with her arms open, I would go there. I would run back to her. This is the reality of my situation. I am a worm.
Listen to yourself, this is toxic.
She's not here right now, so you can't run back to her. That's step one. You can't do it right now. You're here with us, and that is the reality of where you're at. And we want you to work with us. Even if you don't want to go all the way, you don't have to go all the way with us. Just stay here tonight and just sit and talk with us and just listen.
The difference is, as much as witnessing her do that broke me, she could come back.
Carrie Iris, it's gone. Whatever life you had, it's over. And I'm sorry I have to be the one to tell you this, but it's never coming back. Your mother, whether she loved you or not, does not anymore. I know you don't want to hear it, but whatever idea you have of returning to some state of being in the past, that past does not exist. In her eyes, you're not family anymore. You're not even acquaintances. I doubt she would even give you the time of day if you were groveling in front of her on the street, penniless and destitute. That woman, I know she's your mother, but she is awful. She is horrible. I've had to work with her before. She didn't even put any money in my birthday card. That is irrelevant. But the point is,
Carrieras like stops him and storms up to him and gets into his face. Like, you can't say that. You can't. And she's got tears like coming out of her eyes. She's saying, she's horrible. She's the only one that's ever put up with me.
Well, I disagree with that, Carrieras, because I see 3 people who've been putting up with you for quite a long time now. And they've had your back a lot more times than she has in the few weeks that you've known them. Especially considering how many years you've been in your mother's life. That should tell you all you need to know. But look, whatever your opinion of this whole thing is, whatever you decide to do, at the very least, hear me out when I say that there is another option that I have been working on with a few people for a very long time, years even. There is a system in this world that is too far dug in. It has too much control over everything. This insidious beast that has just corrupted whatever we knew of the world. And it's people like your mother who are benefiting off of it. That top 1% of people who have all of the money, who have all of the wealth and the power and the property and the land, and they keep just dragging it out from under us. These corporate suits who just want to tear everything that they can to pieces if there might just be a single copper piece that they could squeeze out of it. And you need to decide which side of that argument you're going to be on when it starts. Because if you're part of that 1%, if you're desperately clinging on, then I'm sorry. But I'm going to take you down as well. You understand me? I'm going to tear you to shreds if you think that woman who you used to call a mother deserves defending.
I think Carrieras just... I was part of that world, Findus. I benefited from that position. You know, I am one of those people. It's all I've ever known. And it's very hard for me to just cast that life aside. I am one of those leeches of society. I am one of them, Iris. You can't just expect me to just... You know, I'm part of that guilt. I went through my whole life believing that that it was a perfectly fine way to live. In fact, I loved it. I loved the glamour and the luxury and not having to worry about anything or actually do any damn work in my life. And this is why I am like this.
I'm not saying that you weren't like that. I'm saying you can be someone else now. You just have to just give it a shot. Just try.
I don't know if I believe in myself enough for that, Iris. Not yet. Not now, at least.
Then we'll get there.
Maybe, but I guess you are right in saying for now, I have nothing. So I guess I'm going to have to work somewhere. Or once in my life, I might do a genuine day's work.
Well, in that case, let's listen to what Findus has to say.
Look, it's very simple. There is an organization that I am a part of who have not necessarily made themselves known just yet. But we believe in one thing and one thing only, and I am sure that you are all going to be very happy to hear this, because we just believe in telling the truth. I'm not some kind of revolutionary, all right? I don't know how to take this whole system down, but if I can, at the very least, expose the rot in the center, maybe we can do something about it. So, with that in mind, we have a new newspaper joining the stands of the world. And he sort of reaches behind him and he grabs like a page, a front page of a big broadsheet. And at the front there is a very sort of utilitarian, like blocked sans logo that just says the truth. And below it, a huge headline that reads, "Cover Up," with a big open square waiting for an image.
I think I can help with that.
This right here, this is the story we need to tell. And I need your help to tell it. So, what'll it be? You want to live a lie? Or you want to tell the truth? And we will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Storybreakers. That was quite an emotional one, so take a moment.
It's all just a game.
Thank you so much for watching. This has been the final episode of season 1 of Storybreakers.
I knew I won. I had a feeling.
We need to all have a little talk about what that means for the next few episodes. But by the time you're watching this, we should be coming very close to the first ever live episode of Storybreakers happening at MCM London in May. We will have more Storybreakers content coming for you. What shape that will be remains to be seen. But thank you very much for watching our first ever season so far. If you've enjoyed it, please tell everyone you know about how much you enjoyed it. Spread it as far as you physically can.
It was good and you know it was. Tell me more.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Dicebreaker, give us a like, click the bell icon to get notified whenever we put a new video live. Leave us a comment with what you thought of the season finale. And also head on over to Dicebreaker.com, where Matt and Mian are writing fantastic stuff every single day, as well as chasing all of our lovely contributors. Head on over to Dicebreaker.com/members /subscribe. Thank you, Matt, to learn more about our fantastic membership program as well, in which you can get loads of exclusive behind the scenes stuff, loads of our thought columns and videos that we've made behind the scenes, and all of the silly things that we've done, including fantastic let's plays of video games and things like that, if that tickles your fancy. But thank you very much for watching. We will see you on the next Dicebreaker video, but until then, have a lovely day. Goodbye.